So if you have questions, just speak up at any point, and I'll just try to field them as they come. Um, see if I can get rid of this bar right here. That's fun.
Yeah, I don't know if that'll go.
I think it's pinned. Let's see if we can get rid of it. Sorry, technical difficulties. Those are always fun.
It's not.
Stan's meeting.
Oh. Is it muted?
I don't know. Well, I can hear you guys. It's fun to hear you though. You guys know how to get rid of this bar? It's making me mad.
Oh, usually when you go into the,
Usually you
go
can
ahead.
hit Windows
There's-
key twice and it goes away.
Windows key twice.
Yeah, try that.
Okay.
There you go.
Nice. Pro move right there. All right. Well, let's get rolling. So a couple things. First of all, we feel like anyone that is involved in dentistry should be working towards becoming an entrepreneur, right? It's not enough anymore. Well, that's not true. You can take the, I guess, boring, easy route and not get involved. But for those of us who are interested in the business aspect of things, you really should be looking entrepreneurially at things. And one of the things that means is understanding what happens in your practice and the things that affect it. And so with marketing, we're not suggesting that anybody should become a marketing expert. If you want to, that's great. I think that's really cool. But there are people that are out there that do marketing, but we should have a basic understanding of marketing and the way that things are going and trends and how to understand and know if someone we've hired is doing a good job. And so really what this is part 3. This is the last and final webinar for this 3-part series on marketing. And marketing falls within our curriculum, the Elevation Association curriculum. It falls within the Mount Fuji curriculum, which is leadership. We feel like it's not enough anymore to be a manager. Like, it's about being a leader. When you run a practice, it doesn't matter how you run a practice. When you're running a practice, you should be a leader, not just an owner, or, and you shouldn't just be an owner, you should be an entrepreneur. And so there's these shifts of thinking that we need to have when we're looking at this stuff and our approach to how we're going to do it. So this falls within that part of our curriculum. And if anyone's interested, just email us, let us know. We can get you some more information about the leadership curriculum we have, which we've done to the peak of Mount Fuji, because we think these are things that, as you are ascending your leadership pathway, it's akin to ascending Mount Fuji. We like the imagery. It's cool. And just again, a reminder about our Life Summit in El Salvador over, I keep saying Thanksgiving. It's over Valentine's Day, 2024. So February 10th to the 17th. We're going to be offering about 12 to 14 credit hours of CE for this. It is a couples trip. So bring your significant other and have an amazing time. We're having a surf camp. It's beachside. This place is just unreal, and we've got the whole place. So it's a pretty amazing trip. For those who have done it, they can tell you how special these trips are and these summits are. So we have one spot left. We'd love to have that filled and have somebody join us. So there's some videos. I'm going to cruise past these videos, or try to cruise past them anyway. Also, just a quick reminder that we are going to Africa again with the Dental Legacy Foundation. We are going to Tanzania. We do an annual trip there. There's multiple opportunities to go, but we as Dental Legacy Foundation are inviting dentists to come with us October 10th to the 24th. You can submit an application on our website at dentallegacyfoundation.org. This is an amazing opportunity to come and do some service in absolutely unique and incredible place. To about what we're doing, check out our website. shoot us an email, shoot us a text, shoot us a call, whatever. We'd be happy to talk about it. There's another video. I'm going to zoom past that. It's on our website. It's pretty sweet. Just shows you how special this place is. It's really incredible. So let's get into this. So let's talk about digital marketing. We've covered part 1 and part 2, which really focused on getting the preliminary things that you need to have in your practice accomplished before you can take this to use it for a campaign. So we talked about strategy. We talked about how that's different than a campaign. And what we look for in a strategy, just to review really quick and recap, is you need to know your target market. You need to know your 3 uniques, something that make you stand out, something that makes you different. You need to know your proven process, and you need to have a guarantee established. That's what those consist of. And you can go back and go to YouTube and watch our part 1 and part 2. Part 2 is more about brand storytelling and really finding your story and being able to explain to others what your story is, which is a really important part today in marketing, because that's what resonates with people. But today we're going to talk about a campaign, and a marketing campaign is different than the strategy. So what a marketing campaign consists of is it's the money and effort used to put your marketing strategy in front of potential and existing patients. So we're talking social media posts, we're talking ads, brand storytelling. Maybe you're running a special on something, educational information or promotions, introductions. If you're volunteering, sponsorships, these kinds of things are all part of a campaign that you're going to run, that you're going to use your strategy to push that campaign. All right. So I'm not going to go through all these. This is just to overwhelm everybody because there's a lot of different marketing techniques. And these are all current marketing techniques. These are the things that are utilized by marketing companies today. We're not going to go through all these. Like I said, we're just going to hit on the big ones. And the ones that are important for us as we manage and run a practice to understand. So the current trends as they are today consist of, obviously Google. So search engine marketing, search engine optimization, Google, you can use retargeting in Google. If you haven't used Google Business Profile, it used to be Google My Business. We should really look into that. That's something that is super helpful and easy to use, easy to understand. Okay, so Meta, we're going to talk a bit about Meta. Micro content is huge right now. So these are 60 seconds or less stuff. So like your TikTok, your Reels. We're going to talk about how to utilize those and why they're important. And then informative posts and ads. So these are promotion. So what they found is that promotions show less traffic. So if you're just running an ad or promotion on like bleaching or something like that, people aren't as interested in that. They don't want to be sold something. They want to have an experience. So you have to think about that when you're taking and creating posts, is like, what kind of experience am I creating for anyone that is watching or clicking on my stuff? And of course, ClickFunnels, we talked about those in part 1 and part 2. This is what drives patients to your website or your landing page. This is really important that you have a good website that, again, showcases your niche, showcases your 3 uniques, showcases what you do and what you're about, or excuse me, not what you do, but what you're about, story, because people know what you do. I'm not going to rehash that, but it's important. And then the last thing is referrals. And referrals are often overlooked and undervalued. And the reality is that referrals are probably your #1 marketing tool. So here's some big questions. Do you know your ideal patient? So we call them an avatar. So what's that avatar? Who is that ideal person that we're looking to be a patient in our practice? Do you know where they live? Do you know what you want to present to them? So in other words, do you know, like, if they come in or if they talk to you, do you know how this is who we are? Do you know how you want to deliver that? Do you know what they want? Right? And then do you know what makes you special? And do you know how to reach these people? So those are big questions. And if you can't answer these questions, you're not ready to start a marketing campaign. You need to get back to basics and work on your strategy. So you have to be able to answer all 6 of these questions before you really should start a campaign. So what outlets are your target patients utilizing most? So are they using word of mouth? Are they using social media ads, like newspaper? Are they going to Craigslist? heaven help them if they're going to Craigslist for a dentist. Are they reacting with mailers or email blasts? Is it in-house? Is there something else? But the three that we're going to focus on here is just the word of mouth, social media, and media ads, because these are things that are universally successful and are really the top in the trends right now. So let's talk a little bit about digital PR. So the purpose is to reach new audience. So we want to get new patients. We want to reach out to people that aren't currently patients, but we also want to reach current patients. So if you think, what's crazy is that the average person spends about 147 minutes a day on social media. That number's gone up since 2022. It was obviously a lot higher back in 2020 because of COVID, but it's actually gone up since 2022. So why does that matter? Well, because your content matters, right? So what they're seeing will matter. If you want them to interact with your content, it's going to matter what you put out there. Storytelling becomes really important here because people like to have that experience. So if you can present something that's interesting to them, that catches their interest and their focus, then they're going to engage with that post, whatever content you put out there longer. All right, content or podcasts, excuse me, are a really nice way to reach new audiences and engage with patients. So there's something called the surround sound method. What this, and this is something to understand from the very beginning, because we're going to come back to this in principle a few times. So we need to get this established right away. So basically an ad's effectiveness increases the more times it's seen by a prospect. So the more someone watches something or interacts with something, it becomes more effective. And according to Alex Burkett, he's the senior growth marketing manager at HubSpot. If you can get lots of people to talk about you favorably, preferably around the same time, you can generate a greater amount of brand awareness. So basically you try to create a buzz on what's going on. So once you have identified your strategy, you can now start to flood your market with content. So storytelling and educational content are received and viewed way more than promotional content. So, and you're going to hear this again and again. This is something that I'm going to present on because it's really important, because people think, oh, if I run an ad, a promotion on, oh, free, whatever, or, get a bleaching with an exam or free x-rays or whatever. People don't really interact with that. What they do interact with though is storytelling and educational stuff. So if you can put something like a procedure that you're doing or record yourself working or befores and afters, we'll come back to this, but that is what's going to get people to engage with that presentation or with that content. And then if you can get enough people to start talking about it, you can start to create some brand awareness. And that becomes really important because then you start to get noticed and recognized, and you start to gain notoriety. So like I said before, this is why brand storytelling and identity are so important to have first. So you've got to make sure, again, I'm going to just beat this drum over and over again, that you have your identity and your story in line before you take it out and start a campaign. All right. So let's get right into some of these social media outlets. So Meta, which used to be Facebook, it's the company that owns Facebook, Instagram, they own WhatsApp, and they're huge. They own a few other things. It's one of the most valuable companies and among the 10 largest publicly traded corporations in the US. They're huge. It's considered one of the big 5 American information technologies company alongside Google, Amazon, Apple, and Microsoft. So Meta is huge. More than 77% of internet users, about 3.5 billion people, are active on at least one Meta platform. That's cuckoo. That's just crazy. Think about that. 77% of internet users are interacting with something with Meta. So if you're not using a Meta platform, you are missing the boat. So let's talk a little bit about Meta retargeting. So everyone that watches a video on a Meta platform can be tracked. And the iOS privacy changes have no effect on this. So they just changed some of the privacy. You probably got something on your, either your Mac or your iPhone or whatever. and it says that they just updated their privacy policy, this doesn't change anything. They can still track us, no problem. And it's because it's all happening with Meta's own platforms. So as long as it's within Meta, they can track you without violating any type of privacy problems. And the way it's done is it's done through emails. So if you remember when you made your Meta account, whether it be Instagram, whether it be WhatsApp, whether it be, you know, Facebook, whatever, you had to create it through your email. And that's why you can log on to your Facebook page through your Google account or vice versa, because these platforms are now talking to each other and it's all email based. So we're going to try to capture that and see what we can do with it. So we want to capitalize on this. Like I said, we want to understand the algorithms and how they work. And we want to create campaigns that entice interaction. So we want our own database within Meta. So we can capture our own email database, and then we can take and retarget this. And we're going to talk about what retargeting is. It's simply utilizing the existing and growing database of those who have interacted with your content and then targeting those people with new content. So you basically are starting to get a market that is interested in what you're doing. And then once you start to generate that database, now you can create new content that's going to be sent to that group. So the idea is that we need to entice them to initially interact with our posts or our content. And this will ensure that your content is reaching your target audience. So we go back to that avatar. Now we're starting to get to those people, right? Any questions so far? I know I'm going through this pretty fast because we're going to start to get into some heavier information here. All right, so how do we take advantage of meta tracking? So create video contents for Reels. That's one of the easiest way to do it. These are 60 seconds or less. They're just, you can do so many things super easy with this. Now, having said, like I said earlier, content matters. So find what people interact with most or what they interact with more. And I'm going to show you how to do that in just a little bit, or what your marketing company can be doing or should be doing. We're going to get into that. But what you need to do is remember the surround sound method, right? So we need to do 3 or more posts per week minimum. So you're going to probably feel a little obnoxious with the amount of posts that you're putting on each week. It's okay. Flood it, but make good content. Don't make you're going to know what people interact with by utilizing some tools. So you'll find out what works, and you're going to go down that way and continue to make content that is consistent with what people are interacting with. So storytelling, again, I know I sound like a broken record here, but storytelling or informative videos do best. So some ideas for that are like before and afters. So you could do a series of just before and after small reels, add a little music to it, just they can even be stills and you can just go between them. People love those. A patient story. So those are really, really interesting. People like to engage with those, but that type of video is what we're talking about. So let's talk about meta tracking a little bit. So once your content starts gaining viewership, it'll create an email database, like I said. And now you can access this database through Facebook Ad Manager. And there are a lot of tutorials online about how to use Facebook Ad Manager. You do not need to be a marketing expert to do this. And honestly, I would recommend that you actually have your marketing company handle all this, but you should have access. They should give you access to the Facebook Ad Manager. It's pretty basic stuff. This is not rocket science, but if they say no to that, go get somebody else. You should have open access to any of that information so that you can go in, learn how to utilize this. I look at this every day. It's so intuitive. It's super, super easy. And it's going to help you know what content is performing best or worse. You can look at stuff and see sometimes it'll surprise you too, what performs well and what doesn't. And this will help with that optimization, because why would you create content that isn't performing well or isn't hitting the right market? Doesn't make any sense. All right. So how do you create a campaign? So once you've utilized your Facebook Ad Manager, you can start a campaign. and you start your ad campaign in start your campaign in ad managers. So into ad manager, and there you can, so via your viewership of your reels, you now have a list of these potential warm leads that you can retarget, like I was talking about, because you have this email database now, people that have already interacted with your stuff. And you'll need to create, like I said before, things are going to be a little bit cyclical when I'm talking about here, because you're going to see some patterns. It's because there's algorithms that we're trying to hack and follow these things. But you're going to need to create a strong landing page. So if you don't have a good web page, if your website for your office isn't good, and the way you can find out if it's good is just ask a few people to go and look at it. Usually, relatives are good, friends, and say, I need honest feedback on this, and see what they have to say. If you already know that it's bad, that's not good, because nowadays that's where people go. They go to Google and they click on your webpage. If you run an ad on Facebook, it takes them to your webpage. And if you can't tell a story and say why you're different and why they should come to you, then you're going to lose that patient immediately. So that's why that page, that website is so important. And the page that they land on, so whatever link that you put in your meta, whatever you put that, when they click on that, whatever page it takes them to needs to be strong. It needs to be something that immediately captures their attention and makes them want to dig through the website a little deeper. So if it just is a generic whatever, and there's nothing interesting on there, and it says free bleaching or something like that, they're going to go away. They're not going to, they're going to lose interest quickly. Okay. So that's the first thing we're going to do. So let's go back to this idea of Facebook retargeting. So Facebook uses algorithms that increase traffic to specific pages based on interaction with content. Okay, what the heck does that mean? So as people follow, as they like, as they share or comment, the algorithm increases the amount of content from that page or post to the user's feed. So everybody's probably noticed this when you're on Facebook or Instagram. If you like a page, or you even hover, because it tracks how long you look at something, you don't have to even interact with it. If you just stop and look at an ad, or you didn't like it, you didn't share it, you didn't comment, you just hovered on it, it tracks how much time you hovered on that particular post. So, but then just to kick it up a notch, let's say you like something. Let's say you like it from a certain friend, and everybody's noticed that they get the same 20 people that post. It's like, why do all these people, the same people, post all the time? How do I never see so-and-so post? Because it automatically will generate stuff that you interact with more and put that in front of your face more. So if you can entice somebody, again, to interact with your stuff, it's going to be a lot better. What happens is the more interactions, the more exposure. So, and it is ranked. So they actually, so a hover is like the minimal, right? It gives you an algorithm. That's the minimal amount of, we'll call it points. It's not really points, but that's the minimum amount of points it would get to promote it, right? The next would be a like or some type of reaction, like a love, a like, or whatever. The next would be a comment. And then the most would be a share. If someone will share your stuff, that generates the most. And it does some really cool things when somebody comments or shares, especially if they share. What it does is it kicks that posting, and it'll kick it in front of the person that shared. It'll kick it in front of their friends. And then as you post again, it'll automatically kick your post in front of their friends. So you've probably noticed, let's say you were, the other day, I clicked on I'm a big motocross guy, and I clicked on this particular one that they, a post on a helmet. And I clicked on that. And then the next, 2 hours, I had every fifth post was for helmets. So you can see what happens is that these types of interactions, the way that it starts to lock you into the algorithm, that's why, if my wife is looking for Uggs boots, which she was doing for my daughter for Christmas, all of a sudden I get ads because we're on the same server. I start getting ads for Uggs in my feed. So that's because that's the way the algorithm works. So it's important to know how that's functioning. All right, any questions so far? Okay. So I gotta move this down just a hair. All right, so to continue to talk about retargeting, let's actually put it to a real world example and show you how you can build a retargeting campaign in your office. So there's a dentist named Anissa Holmes out of Florida who has something she calls 100 new patients in 100 days. And we've adapted this from her, I guess, program, if you want to call it that. And what you do is you reach out to local businesses. Who do you like to promote? For us, we live in a small town. We like local businesses that are locally owned. So we reached out to locally owned small businesses because we're a locally owned small business. Or you can go and get somebody that you feel has a similar target audience as yours. So where would your avatar be? Where would they be hanging out, right? So you can go talk to those businesses and then ask for gift cards from those businesses. And then tell them in exchange for the gift cards, you're going to be promoting their companies. And then you're going to give away these gift cards. So you're going to promote their business and give away their gift cards to people that are interacting. So usually it's going to be locals. You're not going to have, if you live in Ada, Oklahoma, you're not going to have somebody from, Montana interacting saying, geez, I hope I win that gift card to, local shop in Ada. So that's where you can start to see why it starts to target the people that are around you. So then you're going to create an initial post stating that you'll be doing X days of giveaways. So typically, you want to do about 7 to 10 days of giveaways because you want to generate, remember the surround sound method. So we're going back to this surround sound method. We're going to capture and capitalize on that. So we're going to do X days of giveaways, and then you're going to say things like an opportunity to win big or prizes from these local businesses. So you list the 3 to 5 local businesses that have donated the gift cards, and you say prizes from this, and then you say up to and figure out the value up to X amount of dollars in prizes. And you could do like a TV giveaway. You can go buy a TV if you want, and that can be like a grand prize or whatever you want to go do. And say, up to this much dollars in prizes, but you get the idea. And then for the next 7 days after, you're gonna post content promoting the giveaway. So however that looks, you're gonna work with your marketing company and hopefully like a web designer or some type of, someone that's good at design, help you to generate ads. So we use Mint Mountain Media for ours, and she's fantastic. Janelle Reynolds is terrific. I'm going to give her a promotion promote her right now because she's so good. She does all of our marketing material, but you want someone like that so that your brand is universal, so they start to recognize it, right? So brand recognition, again, is important. So you're going to have them do these posts for 7 to 10 days on Facebook, and then do X days of giveaways. So you're going to say, oh, we're going to do 5 days of giveaways or whatever. So you can start to see this is going to take a while because you're now creating a lot of opportunities for someone to interact. And so we just based it on how many cards you have to give away. So if you want to give away 1 card a day, 2 cards a day, 3 cards a day, it's totally up to you. But you want to have X days of giveaways so that people are checking back to see if they've won. And then the final day, you give away a $500 gift card to your practice to just use how you want to use it, right? So maybe it's towards bleaching, or maybe it's towards, something cosmetic or braces or whatever the heck you want to do it, right? So that again is going to get people to interact with this. So the other thing that you want to do is you want to say, in order for someone to be eligible, they have to comment and or share that post. So if you remember that scoring, that faux scoring system I was talking about, you're going to entice them to do the things that have more impact on your content. So you say, okay, in order to be eligible to win, you have to comment and share the post. And it should probably be a comment that you designate. Like, don't leave it open to them, because you can end up having some posts, or some comments that you may not like. So for what we did was they had to comment, "I love the Wood River Valley." So there you go. And then state that sharing promotes a chance to win. So like I was just saying, this entices interaction with your content. It gets in turn gets in front of more people with your sphere of influence. Okay, so how does that be, in a very basic level, how that works is that, again, I'm going to sound a little bit like I'm saying the same thing over and over again, but once they interact, when they share or when they comment, that's going to kick your post in front of their friends who hopefully live in the same area. Some won't, obviously, but if they do, it should entice them to, hey, you could win this thing. You could win a gift card. There's no skin off your nose to try it. And then they're going to interact. And then, it just starts to steamroll and you start to get that surround sound effect. And then the side effect to all of this is that you'll begin to build the email database within the Meta algorithm platform. So when you post anything else, it'll hit those people first and more often. So now you're starting to see why it's called retargeting. So code such as Google Pixel Analytics and Facebook Pixel can be utilized to tap databases such as Meta. That comes with some provisions. You have to have a certain amount of interactions with posts and your website for it to collect enough data. So by theory, it's a good way to go, but you do have to generate quite a bit of interaction and hopefully hits on your website. Otherwise, it won't collect the data that you need. But if once you can unlock that, it allows you to utilize your database across different platforms such as Google and Facebook. So that's crazy. So think about that for a second. So you can now utilize your database from Facebook and target Google and vice versa, which is really, really cool. So it allows you to upload your email database from your office as well and load it into each platform. So you can target, so hopefully all of your patients have an email in your database at your office. And what that allows you to do is to go ahead and load that into Google or load that into Facebook. So now when you do a posting and you put out content, it automatically goes out to your patients who hopefully, if you're doing a promotion, you're doing a campaign, as they share, hopefully it'll hit more people that are in your area that then could be potential patients. So this is how it starts to get in front of people. This is cool stuff, guys. This is like, it's so much better than the old school email blast or mailer that was just like, just throw a dart and hope it sticks somewhere. This is such a better, more efficient way to do things. You can also purchase email lists. I don't really recommend that unless you're in a big metro area, it's probably not a good idea. It's a waste of money. A lot of it is just garbage. So, but you can, if that's, something that you want to talk to your marketing company about, absolutely talk about it. All right, let's talk about Google. So Google's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So let's look at the world market share by usage. Google is 92%. This is in the world. Bing is the next at 2.5%, and then Yahoo is less than 2%. Basically, search engine is owned by Google. Like, it is all Google. You go back to that phrase, it's worth a Google. I mean, it's in our common vernacular now. But what's cool about Google is that it has multiple aids to assist in engine optimization and search engine marketing. So it also has algorithms built into it to help with retargeting. Google Analytics and Facebook tracking are part of what it can do, which are pretty sweet, like I was talking about with a couple of the programs they have, but they come with, like I said, some provisions. And there's multiple ways to keep it within budget. Google's really business friendly. They obviously want to generate more usage of their search engine. So they've done a lot of things to entice, especially small businesses, into utilizing their tools. They've got some really good tools. So the bottom line, use Google, utilize what they have because it's pretty sweet. All right. So we're back here again. We're back here again talking about how content matters. So on the right here, you can see this is a lot of the content that has been put out by Wood River Dental. So our office here in Haley. And you can kind of see the type of things that we do. You can see that we do employee spotlights. You can see that we talk about how you can make a difference in Tanzania by being a patient here. You know, some of it is promotional, some of it is just reviews. But you get an idea of the gamut of types of content that we put out there. And at this point, when you're starting to go down this road of marketing, you should have an idea of what content you want to create. You should know oh, this is the story that I want to put out there. This is the information I want to put out there about my practice. And again, I know I keep coming back to this stuff, but it should be based on your identity and your story. Everyone already knows you're a dentist. You don't need to say anything about that. You need to showcase how you're a different dentist, what makes your office unique, right? And why someone would want to come and see you. And you do that through your storytelling and identity. Content should be informative, educational, or informational. Like I was saying before, these perform better. And you should have short form for Meta and long form for YouTube. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in just a second. But you should be able to get an idea about your why and why you're different, or what they should expect if they see you. So by watching your content, they should have an idea about what makes you different and what they should come to expect if they come to your office and see you. So how are you going to tell that story? That's, if you want to go back to webinar, the part 2 of the webinar, there's a lot of stuff on that. So let's talk about reels versus long form video. So hopefully you guys are using AI now to create content. It's so much easier. AI is a game changer. It's a little scary what it can do, but it's pretty freaking sweet too. So there's a lot of really cool stuff that is out there to help you create content. It'll make life so much easier. And you can generate a lot of content, because remember, if we go back, how much content we need to be putting out there, it can help you generate a lot of content a lot faster. So reels or short form videos are much better for social media. So 60 seconds or less. And it's because our attention spans, if they were bad before, they're terrible now. So you need to have something that's short form, that's going to engage somebody long enough just to interact for a while. And it should be all those things that we talked about earlier. Now, long form should be reserved for YouTube. So instructional or educational content, vlog. Yeah, you can do vlogs for your or blogs from your practice. Vlogs are really cool, especially in a practice. The stuff that you can put out are pretty fun. You can be doing podcasts. Obviously we do a podcast here with EA, and you can put out a lot of different information. Think about the breadth that dentistry covers. So be original. Go find something to do a podcast on. It's a great place to do your brand storytelling, to go into a little more depth about who you are and what your background is, how you're unique, that type of thing. You can make that long form. Long form does not mean an hour, by the way. We're just talking over 60 seconds. So anything over 60 seconds, we're going to call it long form. So 2-minute video about your story, 5-minute video about something cool that's happened in your office or something cool that your team did, that type of thing. So what's cool about YouTube is it's the fastest way to increase your search engine optimization. So the better content, the more content you put on Facebook and the more interactions you get with that, more watches, it'll boost your SEO. So again, it's crazy. Like the way that this stuff talks to each other and the way that they interact and it affects each other is bonkers. Also, you can upload videos to Google My Business for free. And there's some cool stuff. If you haven't utilized Google My Business, go in there, check it out. There's some really cool things that are in there that will allow you to promote your stuff. All right, let's go back to Reels and talk about Reels for a second. So again, this is short form video. So this is micro content. So this is your Reels. This is your TikTok. So what you want to be able to do in a Reel is say what we do, which again, that's easy. You want to say who we are, services we offer, and vertical short form video works best. In other words, when you're recording, hold your camera up like this, not landscape like that. And then, Joshua Scott from Studio 88, he has these pillars of marketing about vertical short form videos. And his are testimonials, culture and vibe, results. Again, that's before and after stuff, and tutorials and education. And those are the things that if you can build off of those. So micro content is you can do what we are, who we are, what we do, services, all that stuff. But if you want to hit the right things, you're gonna focus more on testimony, the culture of your practice and the vibe that you have there, results. And this is something, again, if you're going to capture the surround sound method, that sounds kind of funny to say vibe, but it's what gets especially younger people to and they're the ones that interact the most. So maybe they're not your avatar, but they can promote your stuff better than most people. So in some ways, you kind of want to entice younger people to interact with your stuff because they are more interactive. So if you can generate or create content that has a cool vibe to it, that's going to entice them to interact with it, the better off you're going to be because they will promote your stuff. So inadvertently, by targeting a younger patient base or just a younger audience, they're going to promote your stuff better than maybe some of the, even if your patient is your avatar is an older patient, you still might want to create some content that entices the younger people to interact with it. So some ideas behind this are just some cosmetic, like show some cosmetic treatment that you've done, show some bruxism. Like, what is bruxism? Let's talk about bruxism. Or showcase your Surik, look how cool this is. You can just show a video of what the Surik's doing, show your hands work and like you walking down the hall and then show the Surik. Like that's, hypnotizing that is to watch a Surik mill a crown. It's crazy. Implants are super cool. People love implants because, as we get better and better at that. That's becoming more and more easy to record, easy to put content out there. People love that bloody, grody stuff. Well, at least I do. People will interact with that. I found my daughter, she's 13 years old. She's looking at these surgeries and stuff. I'm like, doesn't that make you sick? And she's like, no, I think it's fascinating. So that kind of stuff actually engages people. All right. So let's talk about ads now. So the old school, the actual ads. So Google ads and meta ads are really, really important here. They're inexpensive. You can pay per click or you can pay per time. So remember I was talking about how Google has a lot of options. It's very small business friendly. This is some stuff that they've done to make it affordable and make it within reach to utilize their platform. It's best utilized once a database or a following is established. And again, you want to be able to retarget who you're aiming for. These ads help. So if you just we did a little while ago, we put out some ads, but we didn't retarget. We just put them out there. We got interactions in like Bangladesh. We had interactions in Asia, like just in places like East Asia. And with people that weren't dentists, had nothing to do with anything that we're doing, and definitely weren't ever going to be patients. And so you have to be careful because then you start to build a database of people that are not in your area. So you really should have a strong database before you start to do this, because if you start putting it out, you can shoot yourself in the foot and you're going to end up having your content going out to, Timbuktu or wherever, and definitely not where you want it to go. So that's why we have the picture of the horse here, is because you don't want to put the cart in front of the horse. You really need to get that database established first. And so again, in your ads, it's important to talk about the what and versus the why and the why. So what are you going to put? You need to decide, are you going to talk about the what or the why? And so we talked about this a little bit in part 1 of our webinar series and a lot more in part 2. So to learn more about that, go back and watch that part, and to learn what the why is, what the what is, and decide which type of ad you want to run. All right. So meta ads. So we just talked about Google ads, talk a little bit about meta ads. So this is different than content. I don't know about you guys, but half of my feed now is ads. I get so many ads. It's crazy. And you can like X out ads and you just replace them with different ads. And for some reason, I don't know why, I go back to Facebook and look at it again anyway. So I don't know if I'm just a trained monkey now and I'm Pavlov or whatever, but I just am drawn back to it. And so these are the ads that I'm talking about. If you're on a computer, they'll pop up on the sidebar. If you're on your phone, it'll be just scrolling right down the feed. Both. You can do ad and content on Meta. Again, this is how important this is. Before you run ads, a following or a database needs to be established, because if you do it, you're going to end up in the wrong market. Utilize Meta Business for this. Again, Meta Business, it's a really, really easy program to use. It's built in. You can just go to the website. It's got tutorials in the website that you can actually it's maybe the most user-friendly analytics program that I've ever come across. And it shows ad relevance. And so it has this thing called ad relevance diagnostics. It is so cool because it allows you to track an ad's performance over a date range. So you can select a date like from here to here and see how well a specific ad did in that range. And maybe there's a time, like maybe there's a holiday, maybe there's something that was going on, whatever it is, that it might gain more interaction. And then you can utilize that information to better retarget your ads next time. It's just a really, really easy way to see how your money is being spent on a specific ad. So it's a quick way to go, oh, I'm wasting my money on this type of ad during this time of year on this date range or whatever. So Google ads. So these are highly effective in getting in front of your target audience for all the reasons we've already talked about. Again, this can be super cost effective, and you can customize your audience and geographic regions super easy with this. It's easy to receive performance data via Google Analytics. I talked about that earlier. I love Google Analytics. I look at it all the time. Potential up or downside is that it situates you on the same page as your competition. We've all gone there. The whole idea of it, as a matter of fact, is that if someone searches dentist in Billings, Montana, that your ad's going to pop up next to their information, right? So that's the whole idea, is to get you to pop up when someone is searching for something similar. And but the bad thing is that you're going to be placed right against your competition. So again, if you're unique and you're different and you stand out and you've got a good vibe and you've got something that's enticing to go look at, they may click on your ad instead of whoever it is top of the search engine. So that's what, again, content matters, storytelling matters, your identity matters, your niche matters, your three uniques matter. I hope that I've just absolutely that dead horse into the ground. So this is also where getting a lot of positive Google reviews becomes extremely important, because if someone clicks, they're already in Google and then they click on your stuff, they will probably go to see what your Google reviews are. So if you only have 5 Google reviews and you're a 4-star off of 5, it's not good. And it's not good simply because there's not enough interaction. Oddly enough, speaking about this really quickly, having a firewall 5-star review with like 500 reviews is actually not good. People want there to be, I guess, a sense of realism, or that you are human. So like a 4.9 actually is better than a firewall 5.0 does, which is weird. But there's something about that resonates, something that's human about imperfection that people like. They think that a 5.0 across 500 reviews is too good to be true, and they start to get suspicious about why it's so perfect. So that's something kind of interesting. So if you do have a negative review, especially if it's like, my favorite is the Amazon negative reviews, that they're angry that their package got their damaged, like Amazon had something to do with that. Those crack me up, and they're good to have, like, oh, well, whatever the review, maybe it's just like an off the cuff wild review. Those are okay. People will go and read that. What they do is they click on the 5-star reviews, read a few, and then they go and click on the low star reviews and read them. And if they realize that the people are crazy that are leaving them, it just looks better for you. So don't be worried if you get a couple of lower star reviews, but the idea is you want to have a lot of reviews. So you need to entice your patients to go and leave reviews. However you want to do that in office, whether you entice them through a gift card or just have them do it in the, on the spot, send them a text, do a follow-up email, whatever you decide to do. Enticing your patients to leave reviews is really helpful and will also boost your SEO. All right. So let's get into a few odds and ends here. So again, your website is most likely the landing page for your funnels, unless you have something else that you're sending people to. Right here, you can see this is our landing page. And that's a video. If you go to Wood River Dental's wedding to our webpage, that landing page, that's a video that's showing a Surek because it's cathartic to watch. It's super interesting right away. And so we have a video that showcases our technology and the things that we do, and it showcases our culture in our office and what we're about without saying what we're about. It also has, our nice little slogan here that is a small town practice, world-class care, because that really sums up who we are, right? So we want to tell them what we're about. Well, that's what we're about. If you come here, you're going to get treated like a small, you're in a small town. You're going to find people that are friendly, that they know you, they know your family, you're taken care of like family. And you're going to receive world-class care, right? So this is our core focus. This is our niche, right? And then the video you see will focus on our uniques, our 3 uniques. So just make sure your website is up to date and reflects the message you want your patients to see and understand by practice, right? And then again, tell your story on your website. And then consider hiring a marketing company to handle all the heavy lifting. Again, this isn't something, unless you really, really love it. Like I said in the very beginning of this, unless you absolutely love marketing, you love to get your hands into this and love to just like do it, hire a marketing company. It's worth the money to have them do it. It's not that hard. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more for that. But I think, in my opinion, it's equally important to have a good graphic designer or web designer to make your content. Because if you can't create something like a marketing company, a lot of times they do that for you. By the way, there are marketing companies that will create your content and they have an in-house, like designer. But if they don't, you need to have someone that's solid. So you start to get brand recognition, just like the little tooth behind us, the Elevation Association logo. We use this everywhere because we want to be like the Nike swoop. We want people to recognize this and know who we are just by looking at that tooth, the tooth of the mountain, right? DA. This is important stuff. So you want something that's easy to navigate, easy to look at, something that looks professional and has branding with it. So we utilize Mint Mountain Media, like I was telling you guys before. Reach out to Janelle. I'll be happy to share her information. Send me a text. I will give you her stuff. She is the bomb and we love her. But find someone that you're happy with. Okay. So finally, get seen. All right. So this is another part of marketing that is interesting. You want to be high visibility. And I know for some of our EA members, one of the things that they lament is their location of their office, because it's really hard to see. Like they're either stuck in like just a row of businesses, or they're tucked behind like a grocery store or whatever. And it can be difficult to get visibility on this kind of stuff. Or, obviously this whole thing about marketing is about getting seen on social media, utilizing Google, that type of stuff. But I'm talking about like physically being seen, so people know that you exist. In a larger market, this is harder. This is simply harder. You just have more competition. It's a bigger geographical area. Less people are going to go down Main Street, so it becomes a little more difficult. So let me ask the question then: if you don't have a high visibility office, How are you going to let your patients know you exist? These potential patients, how are they going to know you even around? So there's some visibility methods here. So you'll need to determine high traffic areas and figure out where those are. And I put the word arena here because maybe it is an arena. For us, we have a hockey rink here that I know some local businesses put up posters and hang ads there. We live in a really small town where that works. If you live in a higher, a bigger area, you might need to do like a billboard. But gyms are good. Grocery stores are good. There's places you can do this. One of our members in Texas, he does a scholarship program. And what's been cool about that is it gives him visibility, but on top of that, it's how he's leaving a legacy as well, which is one of our peaks. So with life, leadership, and legacy, one way he's leaving a legacy is he's making an impact on his community through these scholarship programs. Matter of fact, he had a really cool story the other day about running into one of the kids that he gave a scholarship to that came and thanked him while he and his girlfriend were out and about. And it was really meaningful to him. It was very impactful to him. So that's a cool way to do it and to be seen. Do community support, show up to stuff. If there's things that are going on, be there, help out, contribute, sponsor, get your name in front of people. And then coaching is a great way, or sponsoring local, teams. Get your name on a jersey, get it on a flyer. Find ways that people know who you are. The better you interact with your community, the more visibility you're going to have. So again, if you're working with a marketing company, just find out what the best return on your investments are in that area. They should know. A good marketing company will have run all of the analytics for where you live, and they should be able to tell you right off the bat, like, oh, this has a high return rate. This is how you get seen. We put a billboard up and people, and we saw a boost in new patient interaction or phone calls or whatever. But they should know. If they don't, you might want to look for another company. And then only hire, I want to talk to this for a little bit. Only hire a marketing company that you pay per results. Unfortunately, we've seen some people get burnt by old school marketing companies. They will charge a decent amount of money to do some pretty ineffective methods. They'll send out mailers, they'll do email blasts, they'll do things that are, for today's age, are pretty archaic, that just don't work anymore. They'll say, oh, we'll put your name in the phone book, just crazy stuff like that. And then maybe they're not good at retargeting. That's the other thing, is maybe they're using new methods, but aren't good at understanding how they work. It just because they're a marketing company doesn't mean they're good. Just like dentists, just because there's dentists out there doesn't mean they're good. And if they ask you to put up, and this comes from Matt Mulcock from the Dentist Advisors. This was some advice he gave on a panel that we held here last fall. He talked about if they ask for money up front, that's a huge red flag. You shouldn't have to pay until they show you some type of results. And so you want to look for a short-term, a month-to-month contract. So that he really believes, and gave some examples of marketing companies that are confident in their ability to do things, so confident that they just offer short-term contracts or month-to-month, or even pay as you go, like pay for results type of companies. So look for those. Those are the ones that are going to matter. All right. I've talked a lot in the last little bit. Any questions about anything, ideas, comments?
Hey, Dan, can you hear me?
Yeah, can hear you fine.
Okay, this is Jared. Sorry, I'm traveling, so I'm in the car, but I just wanted to one, say that was incredible. First of all, thank you. And two, when talking about your avatar and your ideal customer, if you want to learn more about that, you can go read a book by Russell Brunson called Expert Secrets. And that will walk you through the process of creating that avatar. And you need to get into depth as far as what does their daily commute look like? Where do they go to the gym? Where do they shop? What podcasts do they listen to? And so you can get your message, your story, your content in the right places.
Yeah, we love Russell Brunson's stuff. So Jared was just, if you couldn't hear him very well, he was talking about going and buying the book Expert Secrets by Russell Brunson. Russell, he's a local Idaho kid that's done right. He's really smart with the current marketing techniques. He's a marketing guru. It's definitely worth the read. And what Jared was talking about is building your avatar, because that idea is really expounded upon in that book by Russell. And he goes into depth about how to figure out who that avatar is. That's a great comment, Jared. Thank you for that. Any other questions or
yeah,
what's
I have
that?
a question in regards to the social media stuff.
Yeah.
Is your marketing company, are they you said that they come up with content, but is it someone on site at your office that's really posting and doing all that stuff? Or
So
are they kind of in charge of that?
she might shoot me for saying this because I don't know if it's a service she offers for everybody. But Janelle at Mountain Media does all of our stuff. And she'll tell you right up front, she's like, I'm not a marketing company. She's like, I'm not. She's a designer by heart, and she's an artist, and she's an incredible one. But she understands marketing really well. But she's adamant that she's not a marketing company, but she does. We understand these fundamentals, and so we capture these, and she creates our content and puts our content out. We pay her to put our content out there. And Kurt, I think you've been working with her a little bit, haven't you?
Not yet. I'm on the downhill slide of trying to get out of what I'm currently doing. I just had too much on my plate to change one more thing, but yeah, and I guess as far as the SEO and the SEM, is that done through her as well?
So we do it organically. And also, Kurt, you have to keep in mind that our stuff, we're in a small market here. We live in a small town. So our SEO is a lot easier. Our SEM is a lot smaller than like in Billings would be. And so she does not do that stuff because we don't need to do it here. But yeah, I mean, there's, we do like, there's a few companies that are out there that I think are worth looking into as far as marketing goes, but you would want to have them handle your SEM, SEO. That's a good question. Any other questions or comments or thoughts?
Two things real quick, Dan. This is Garrett. Number one, we did the 12 days of Christmas going around and getting $200 gift cards at all the local businesses here in town. And that has been awesome. First of all, it was a great way for me to be able to meet people. I met 0 patients doing that. But when people came around, or when I went around and bought gift cards for them, they were always like, "Oh, you're the new dentist in town. I've heard about you." And it's, in a small town, everybody knows, I guess, everybody. But it was a really cool way to be able to get out into the community. So that's awesome. And then it just shows that you're supporting them. Okay. The other thing that I really liked what you said is, and it's kind of funny because it's a necessary evil is TikTok. Whenever I see the girls in my office on their phones, my knee-jerk reaction at first is just like, guys, come on, trash has to be taken out, or things have to get done. But what's really fun is I empowered them to be able to utilize TikTok, just making funny videos, funny workplace videos. And what's really cool is 2-3 times a week, I hear patients talking to the gals at the front being like, "Hey, I saw your guys' video. It was so funny on TikTok." And really what I now am thinking, rather than you guys are wasting your time on your phone, is y'all are researching what you want to do to make a video to promote just our culture here, a fun and work environment. And so that kind of changed my mindset of being just like, get off your phone, to, hey, the downtime is actually productive marketing time for me. And it doesn't mean that they're promoting the business. They're usually just doing the funny little voiceovers on TikTok that are just nuances.
Yeah.
But what's fun is that it's coming from them, and it's creating this inside culture of them wanting to, have fun at work. And so it's almost like having your cake and eating it too a little bit, because they love having the freedom of being on their phone, and I love the freedom of them creating me free content, even if it's not promoting our business, so to speak. And so I wanted to throw that plug in, is having gals on their phones isn't the worst of things, because it's just a different time. And that's how people enjoy their downtime, is just scrolling with their thumb.
Yeah. And so I'm glad you brought up TikTok, Garrett, because TikTok is interesting. TikTok is really good at creating brand awareness, and it's good at promoting your business. It's good at promoting your practice. The conversion rates for TikTok are terrible. So it's not, and I think part of that is the viewership of TikTok is very high, but you're not going to gain a lot of new patients via TikTok. Doesn't mean it's a bad thing, because you're trying to create a surround sound method. TikTok is, you're doing a campaign. TikTok is a great way to get people interested in what your stuff is, right? And the whole idea is to entice them into viewership of other things. And ultimately, if you can get someone to follow you via TikTok because they see you on TikTok, it is. So TikTok is a valuable tool. It's a really good tool. But just know that the conversion rate is not good. Like it doesn't necessarily bring a lot of patients to your office.
That makes sense. Yeah, I think it's fun just because then we take those silly videos that the girls make and share it on all the platforms.
Yeah,
and that's
exactly.
where people see it. And it's a lot of fun.
Yep. And like I say, for your area, you want to be able to drive, people to interact on other platforms. So that's a smart way to do it. And again, vertical short form video is easy. They literally do it. And
Yep.
it seems like the younger they are, the more adept they are. Oh no, I'm getting old, guys. It's happened. Dang it. Any other thoughts, comments, questions about anything? Well, if you have questions down the line, shoot us a text or shoot us an email. Email is elevationassociation@gmail.com. Check out our website too. We can interact there, elevationassociation.com. Please check out Dental Legacy Foundation. Come join us in Africa. It'd be fantastic. It's such an amazing opportunity to give back, and it's so fulfilling. And we're really grateful for that opportunity. Again, that'll be in October of 2024. So yeah, please come and join us. We appreciate you guys being a part of this. Have a great night, and we'll see you guys soon.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you bet.